Why can't I come back? Oh, attendance. What did I do here? So attendance ID, I guess that was integer. That was a primary key. Auto increment and the status status absent and present and the student ID. Okay, so we have attendance ID as a primary key, which is auto incremented by MySQL, like I said. Our status, and we have a student's ID. This student ID, we can call it a foreign key. So in order for us to have a relationship, this relationship here, in order for us to have this relationship, we need to use a foreign key. And the foreign key is exactly that. It's a foreign key. If you don't know what foreign is, you need a course in English. So it's a foreign key because we are taking it from a foreign table. And basically a foreign table, as a definition here, is some table that is not our current table, which we are using this fk in. Yeah, that's the explanation right there. You have to be a genius to figure it out or to understand it. So student ID, foreign key, that's what it stands for. And we have, no, we don't have auto increment here. We can have something like on update. So this is another function. You can think of this as a function that executes when a student gets updated. So you can do on update cascade or delete, I guess. Yeah, you can do cascade. Yeah, on update, and there is on delete. You can do cascade or restrict. Yeah, you can see some tutorials about MySQL. So basically what I wanted to say is, now you have two tables, but if you notice something here, this status column isn't exactly what we want it to be, right? So if you learn something about data what? When you are gonna learn something, when you are learning MySQL or about databases, you are gonna learn something about separating data into multiple tables instead of one table, for example. Okay, so for example, instead of us having absent and present here and checking for them in our application, we can just have the status as just another table. Okay, so let's create another table. So let's call it status. Okay, attendance status. So let's call it attendance status. And this is a table, you guessed it right. Like we said before, each table has a primary key. So this is a status ID. This is an integer. Primary key. Repetition is key. I'm gonna repeat everything. So auto increment. So even if you don't understand what MySQL is, you are gonna do just by repetition. So sometimes I do understand stuff like this myself, just like this. So if you show them enough to your brain, it's just gonna say, I'm gonna understand this. I better do, unless this, and it's gonna show that to me every time. So let's just say you have status ID and what else? So status, attendance status, you have status ID. Yeah, we have status itself. So let's just say status itself or status name. Let's have this as varchar. The student ID is an integer, so let's just not forget that. Status name is varchar. This is not a primary key. Okay, so this is all this table could have. And now let's move on here. So this, now if you really think about it, this could be another relationship. So you have this as, for example, status or attendance status, to attendance. So now attendance is like cheating or having multiple wives. So far so good. So if he's Muslim, he can have that, but astaghfirullah. Attendance, so we have so attendance, this is gonna have the student's primary key as a foreign key. Okay, so attendance is gonna have the attendance status primary key as a foreign key. So let's just use the shortcut right there. So in order for us to create this relationship, we need to remove this absence and present status from here, like this. Oh, okay, let's just, okay, so we should have status as an integer, because it's an ID now, and it's not status, it's actually a status ID, because it's this one that we are referring to. This is the primary key for this table, and this here should be a foreign key. You guessed it right. So it's a foreign key. Foreign key from the I think this is how you actually write comments in MySQL, if I remember. No, it's not. Okay, so let's just leave it like that, and let's say this is from the attendance status table. So primary key as foreign key from this. Okay, so let's just delete this. So now you understand, or you have a basic idea about relationships and what we are going to use. Now let's keep going. So we said that breaking down the problem, making a simple blueprint. Actually, I've just made you confused right here. That's what I think I did. So save students, check for students attendance, delete and add students. What else? Yeah, that's basically it. If you really think about it, this is the most basic application that we can think of, or database. This is actually a database. We have discussed it. All we did is discuss the database. So in order for us to this kind of application, this is a joke. We need to build it. Okay, let's just forget about this line, and let's say now we do know, or we do have the basic idea of what our DB might look like, and that's this right here. Okay, we have tables have columns have data types, which are var, character, integer. These are data types. I didn't want to use such jargon before, so these are data types. We have primary keys, we have foreign keys, which are basically primary keys of other tables, which is basically a definition of a foreign key. A foreign key is just another a foreign key is a primary key for another table in this database, for so it needs to be in the current database. So now we do have a basic idea of what our DB looks like. I guess our DB might look like, yeah, might look like. Yeah, might. Let's just use might here. Okay, now we have a basic idea of what our DB might look like. We can have a basic idea of what our app could look like, but we need to build that interface using PyQt or the Qt designer. So I'm gonna finish this video right here. In the next video, inshallah, we are gonna try to make the for example, in the next video we are gonna make a simple UI or user interface using the Qt designer. Okay, and next thing we are gonna try to create the DB itself, and next thing we are gonna try to connect the DB or connect our app to the DB. So these two actually might be in one video because it's easy, and we are gonna try to insert some data and let's show it in a table, and that stands for, so here we are gonna do create, that's for insert information, read, that's for viewing it in a table, update no, and delete no. So we are gonna just create it. So create and read it, read the data. Which is basically just students or whatever table we chose to go with. So that's it for this video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.